Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, women's basketball advances to NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 for the first time in years.
Plus, Memphis church members raised $5,000 for a 1-year-old with a rare birth defect.
It's the first day of spring here in Oxford, and with that comes pollen season. Stay tuned for more weather updates. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Seth Parento.
And I'm Jania Newsom. There's nothing better than coming out of spring break with something to celebrate, and Ole Miss fans have been celebrating the huge achievement of women's basketball all night.
That's right, Jania. Yesterday, Ole Miss played against Stanford to advance to the NCAA Tournament Sweet 16. Lady Rebels won the game 54-49. This will be Ole Miss's first time advancing to Sweet 16 since 2007.
We got a chance to hear from the coach how she feels on this victory.
And so to be in this situation right now, to take down an historical program like Stanford, a coach and a woman that I admire and I've watched, is incredible. And I'm incredibly grateful to be in this position and look forward to, I told my team, like, I just love them so much. I don't want to stop having this feeling. So who knows, maybe we end up in Dallas. But right now, at least we know we punched our ticket to the Sweet 16. So.
Congratulations to our Lady Rebels. Sports Watch reporter Carson Ware will have more on the game later on.
A former NBA star will be speaking right here in Oxford. Chris Herron, who played for both the Denver Nuggets and Boston Celtics, will be speaking at the Ole Miss Pavilion on April 25th. The event will be centered around Herron's journey from addiction to sobriety. Herron also plans to discuss various forms of drug misuse and prevention, as well as ending with a question and answer segment from the audience. Admission is free and doors open at 6, with the event starting promptly at 6:30.
IMC Connect is back. IMC Connect is an interactive 2-day conference held March 30th and 31st. It gives students, especially those enrolled in university's Integrated Marketing Communications program, the opportunity to network and begin pursuing future careers. The event is sponsored by the School of Journalism and New Media. Students will hear from top educators and speakers from different industries across through multiple panels and hands-on workshops. The full event schedule includes free Chick-fil-A, breakfast, and tour of Ole Miss Students Media Center. You can register at olemiss.givepost.com, click events, type in IMC Connect, select registration, choose the events you are interested in, and you are pretty much ready. Registration is open now for students and faculty.
An overnight fire in Cordova left a family without a home and sent 2 firefighters to the hospital. Shelby County Fire Department says they received a call shortly after midnight, and when they arrived to the scene, flames were spewing out of the home. Officials state that it took 40 minutes to get the fire under control and 3 hours to put it out. The 2 firefighters were hospitalized for high blood pressure. One of them is already back at work.
Young boy of Memphis family received a great surprise. A Memphis church has donated $5,000 to a local child born with a rare birth defect. 1-year-old Josiah Orange was born with coaxial exstrophy, a condition that puts a portion of his large intestine outside of his body with 2 halves of the bladder connected to it. Along with that, he was only born with 1 leg. The $5,000 was presented to Josiah's parents by the Brown Missionary Baptist Church this past Sunday in honor of Josiah, who is expected to be in the hospital until the next year.
Up ahead, if you buy eggs from Dollar Tree, you might be out of luck with finding them in stores.
Plus, average apartment sizes are shrinking, but prices are growing. This and more after the break.
Does it ever seem like some people are actually trying to destroy the planet? And the rest of us are like, hey, we need this planet. Some people may be slow to learn, but they'll eventually get the message.
Oh man, I can't believe I'm missing this. Okay, Grandma. I see you.
Don't get stuck at home with the flu. A flu shot is the best way to prevent the flu and its potentially serious complications. It keeps you, your community, and loved ones protected. Don't get flu FOMO. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
When you have a hole in your neck, don't face the shower head.
Suction out your tube before you eat. Crouch. Don't bend over. You don't want to lose the food in your stomach. Don't use spray paint.
Be very careful shaving.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
Legacy isn't just about where you're from, it's about where you're going. So where are you going?
I'm going to be the first in my family to graduate.
I'm going to make a difference.
Just like my granddad.
I'm going to make the bestseller list.
And I'm going to help him get there.
I'm going to win a championship.
Again! I'm going to lock the vault! Hotty toddy!
I'm going to take the next step. I'm going to bring them to their feet.
I'm going to Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Build your legacy.
Welcome back to NewsWatch Ole Miss. Former President Donald Trump's legal team wants evidence tossed out that they believe was collected illegally. The evidence in question is from a probe Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis conducted last year when Trump was being investigated for his efforts to rig election results in Georgia. Trump's team filed a motion saying the investigation was not conducted under a constitutional statute and violated prosecutorial standards. The goal to stop the district attorney from pursuing any charges against the former president.
To a lot of us, eggs are becoming more expensive every day. The prices increased so much that Dollar Tree can no longer afford them. Dollar Tree sells most products for $1.25. In the past, cartons of 8 or 6 eggs had similar price. Only a small selection of items could go for $3 or $5. With the short supply and high production costs as factors, most producers have raised egg prices to match the higher costs. Dollar Tree simply does not have flexibility to do that. The company states that the eggs will return once the costs come down. Ukrainians have been defending their nation against Russia's brutal invasion for more than a year. As the war rages on, Ukrainians forced to flee the violence in their homeland are finding safe haven in other countries. That includes a family of 6 who settled in North Carolina. Reporter Megan Daney has more on the story.
Просто коли Putin
Summits on the border with the Russian, when the Putin brought his troops to our border for kind of like activity, maneuvers, I knew that it's gonna be war. Our government told us that every family should have an emergency case in the case of evacuation. When the war started, the Russians entered the city, occupied the city.
Svetlana, pregnant with their 4th child, did not want to leave until the night of March 7th, when bombs started to fall.
More than 20 people, including kids, were killed on that night.
Their first attempt to leave failed after a bus with other evacuees was shelled.
Even that was agreement between Ukrainian officials and Russian officials to let the civilians leave the city. The Russian army was still keep shooting and killing civilians.
The next attempt got them safely to western Ukraine.
For us, it was a very hard decision because we love our country, we love Ukrainian people, but we also love our kids, and we realize our kids have to be in a safe place.
From there, they followed family through Poland to Germany, then Spain. Friends who had gone ahead to the United States convinced them a trip across the Atlantic would land them in an even safer place.
Why Western North Carolina here?
Because lots of Ukrainians are here.
And that is where Olex and Svetlana met Gloria Sainyo, an employment specialist with Lutheran Services.
There is a large Ukrainian population here already, and through the United for Ukraine program, people already in the States can sign up to be sponsors for folks.
Gloria's agency works with families like this one and their sponsors here in WNC to help them find jobs, learn English, and simply adjust to American life.
We are really impressed with Western North Carolina. We have great teams of volunteers that help in everything from being English language tutors to donating their time and energy. Like, we could not do this without them.
We are very grateful and thankful to people of United States. Every day when we read news, we experience that suffering what people is going through. My only huge request and desire